Hey guys, what's up? So you can see this is my topology. Okay, so I now create this topology. So first of all, we can create our VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. Then we go to our DHCP server. Okay, so first of all, we can write here our DHCP server name. Okay, DHCP. This is our DHCP server, and this is our DHCP default gateway. Okay, and this is our VLAN 10, and this is our VLAN 20, and I can take a multi-layer switch. Okay, so first of all, we go to our router configuration. Okay, so now I can see this is our gigabit ethernet 000. So this is our 000 IP address. So go to our router CLI. Okay, then we go to no enable. Then we go to configure terminal interface gigabit ethernet 000. Okay, then I write here IP address 192.168.1.1 and our subnet mask we can write here. Then we can write here no shutdown. Okay, then we go to our router another cable. This is our gigabit ethernet 001 cable. Okay, so 001 cable, this is our IP address 2.1. So go to our router and we can write here interface gigabit ethernet 001 and our IP address 192.168.2.1. Okay, and our server mask we can write here. So our router configuration is totally successful. Then we go to create our VLAN. So first of all, we go to our VLAN 10. First of all, we can see our VLAN interface fast Ethernet 0 by 1, and this is our fast Ethernet 0 by 2, and this is our fast Ethernet 0 by 1, and this is our fast Ethernet 0 by 2, and fast Ethernet 0 by 3 are we are also trunking now. Okay, so first of all, we go to our switch and CLI enable config terminal. Okay, first of all, we can create our name. I mean VLAN name. So first of all, we can VLAN 10. Okay, and our name VLAN 10. You can try another names. Don't worry. So then we go to we can write our interface range fast Ethernet 0 by 1 by 2. Why? Because this is our two PC fast Ethernet 1 and fast Ethernet 0 by 2. Then we can now access. Okay, now we can write a switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 10. Okay, then we can now exit, and the last port, this is our fast Ethernet 0 by 3. Now I can see this is our fast Ethernet 0 by 3. We can now trunking here. Okay, go to CLI interface fast Ethernet 0 by 3 switch port mode track. Okay, we can now trunking. Then we go to our VLAN 20 and same system we can configure now. Okay, then CLI, go to CLI, enable config terminal. First of all, we can name our VLAN 20. You can try another names as your wish. Then we can write here interface range fast Ethernet 0 by 1 by 2 switchboard mode access VLAN 20. Then we can now exit, and then we can go to interface fast Ethernet 0 by 3 switchboard mode track. Okay, this is our VLAN configuration done. Then we go to switch, I mean multi-layer switch. Then we go to multi-layer switch. So first of all, we go to multi-layer switch, go to CLI, and you can write here no. Okay, and this is enable configure terminal. You can go configure terminal. Then we can write here. First of all, we can write here VLAN 10 name our VLAN 10. We can exit. Then we can write here VLAN 20. Okay, our name VLAN 20. Then we can write here exit now. Then we can write here interface VLAN 10. Our IP address 192.168.10.1. This is our VLAN default gateway IP address. Okay, our 10.1, and our subnet mask we can write here. Then we can write here no shutdown. Then we can write here another VLAN 20. We can VLAN 20 IP address right here. 192.168.20.1 because this is our VLAN 20 default gateway IP address. Okay, so then we write here no shutdown. Okay, then we go to our interface fast Ethernet 0 by 3. This is our fast Ethernet 0 by 3. This is in this IP address. This is not trunking. Okay, then go to interface fast Ethernet 0 by 3. We can write a no switch port. Then we can write a IP address. Okay, 192.168.1.2, and our subnet mask we can write here. Then no shutdown. Okay, then we go to our DHCP server. Go to our DHCP server. Let's go. This is our DHCP day. We go to desktop and first of all we configure our DHCP IP address. So go to IP address 192.168. So this is our 2.1, our default gateway. So I can write here 2.2, and our default gateway we can write here. I have no DNS server, so don't worry. Then we can close and go to service and DHCP. So first of all we can write here VLAN 10 192.168. Default gateway we can write here 10.1 because this is our VLAN 10 default gateway. Okay, 10.1. Our DNS server is nothing, and this is I can take, and starting IP address 2. Okay, our subnet mask same, and maximum capacity PC I can 50. You can others. You can write any. Don't worry. This is our VLAN 20, and this is our 20.1, our default gateway. Okay, and this is our 20.2. This is our starting IP address. Then we go to push on. Okay, you remember that you go to push on, and otherwise this is not working. Okay, so go to our DHCP. I mean closes our DHCP. So go to our desktop IP address and DHCP configuration. You can see DHCP is not successfully configured. Okay, why? Because I don't configure our IP helper address. So go to our router. Go to our router, and you can see this is our gigabit Ethernet 000. So now I configure our IP helper address. Interface gigabit Ethernet 000. I can write our IP helper address. Which IP helper address? Our DHCP server IP address. We can write here 192.168.2.2. Then exit. Okay. Then we go to our multi-layer switch, and we can now one more time exit. Configure terminal. Then interface VLAN 10. IP helper address 192.168.2.2. This is our IP helper address. Then we go to interface VLAN 20. Okay, IP helper address 192.168.2.2, and we can now exit here. So our IP helper address configured successfully or not. Now I can check. So first of all we go to PC IP configuration, push DHCP. So you can see our DHCP requesting too much more timing. Fail. Why fail? Now I can checking this. Okay. So first of all, we can go to our router. Control Z press. We can now exit, and we can now trace route our 2.2 our IP address. Okay. So not sending. Okay. I can now pinging 92.168.2.2. So you can see our rate successfully showing. Then we can now so first of all yes, this is our router OSPF configuration because this is our. Okay, so first of all we go to enable config terminal. Now I can check more times. Maybe not. Maybe not. So now I go to router OSPF. Okay, first of all we can write here router IP routing. Okay, then we can router OSPF 1. We can router network 192.168. First of all we can write here 2.0. Then we can write here area 0. Okay, then we can write here network 192.168.1.0, and our subnet mask we can write here, and this is area 0. Okay, then we can now exit. Then control Z. Then we go to our multi-layer switch. Our multi-layer switch are also configure our router OSPF. Okay, so configure terminal IP routing router OSPF 1, our network 192.168.1.0, and we can write here area 0. Then we can write here network, our VLAN network we can write here 10.1, but I can write here 10.0. Okay, because this is our OSPF. Then we can write here network, our VLAN 20 we can write here 20.0. Why? Because this is our OSPF. Okay, so we can now exit. Now we go to check, go to router, and we can now check show. Okay, the interface view. First of all we can check up. Yeah, you can see show IP route. Now we can check our IP route 10.0 and 20.0 we can see here. Okay, 10.0 and 20.0. Now I can check our DHCP working or not. So I can push my DHCP. So here, yeah, you can see this is our DHCP totally successfully configured. You can see 10.2 and 10.1 our default gateway. You can see. Then we go to our VLAN 20. Okay, desktop. I push my DHCP. So you can see our DHCP configuration is totally successful. So in this video I configure how to DHCP with layer 2 switch and layer 3 switch and our one router. Okay, so thank you so much.